I'm Mathieu alongside Kailey Leinz in Washington. Israel has released its report on the death of 7 World Central Kitchen aid workers killed earlier this week by airstrikes. According to the IDF, 2 members of the Israeli military have been fired as a result. We spoke earlier today exclusively with Cindy McCain, executive director of the World Food Program. We began by asking whether that incident is giving her organization reason to rethink its efforts.
WP has no intention of pausing right now at all. We are there, we're staying in, and we need, obviously, as you know, as what occurred today, we hopefully will have the ability to get more trucks in and more aid in as a result of the changes that are being made. We'll see.
The headlines this week have been sobering, Director, as you well know. Not only World Central Kitchen, the UN says 165 relief workers have been killed in this conflict, making it the deadliest ever for relief workers. You've described the impossible task, in your words, of getting trucks, particularly to the north, to those who need food in Gaza. I'm wondering what you hear from Israel when they turn your trucks around, what the communication is like, and how do they justify not letting you in?
Well, first of all, my heart goes out to World Central Kitchen. I know exactly how that feels because I've lost people on my watch too. And so I pray for them every day, and I pray for Jose's strength in all of this. It's been a frustrating go for us because it's been start and stop and start and stop. We've had the sometimes we can get a few trucks in, sometimes we can't. Sometimes we're given permission and then not let go. There's no organization or coordination to it, and it's still too little. What we need, and hopefully this will give it to us, is more access. Right now, there's 1.1 million people who are starving to death. Famine is imminent. So it is imperative that we get as many trucks as possible north, especially, to be able to stave off this famine. And we've got to do it now. We can't wait. The waiting has got to be done. We've got to get this going. It's too desperate not to.
Well, we have seen Israel make some changes, as you've alluded to, just in the last 24 hours. The Erez border crossing has now been opened. How immediate will the impact of that opening be? How much further will that go to getting you to scale in terms of the distribution you are attempting to achieve?
Well, I'm hopeful it will help for this reason, because, there's a great deal of prioritization that takes place, and a lot of, the Israelis x-ray everything and they make sure that their trucks only are carrying food on board, which I understand. But we have to be able to do that in a much more efficient fashion and in a faster fashion. Things are held up. The gates have to be left open longer. They can't leave them open from 8 to 6 or 8 to 5, whatever it is, and then randomly close them when they feel like it. It's too important. And more importantly, having more access internally. We have been using the fence road, is what we call it, along the eastern border of Gaza. And as you know, there's a middle road and a beach road as well. All of these routes need to be safe. They need to be unfettered, and we need to be able to travel on them in a safe and in a safe fashion, but also remembering our humanitarian principles along the way and deliver food in a principled fashion.
Can we put a finer point on this, Director McCain? If you're getting 1/100th of the food in that's needed, I believe that's what your most recent measurement was. Is it Israel or Hamas that's blocking your trucks?
Well, Israel is in charge, so it's Israel that's blocking the trucks, or has been blocking the trucks. With that, it's their checkpoints where we get turned around. Mm-hmm. And yes, there have been some instances where the trucks were looted, where we got stuck in a crowd, where things were not vetted properly for us. And tragedies occurred as a result of that. And we don't want any more of that. Our whole goal is to get food in and feed people as fast as we possibly can.
Well, as you say, Director, that you're being stopped at checkpoints, so it's what I would believe would be IDF personnel that are actually manning those checkpoints. Do you see a breakdown and inconsistency with the communication you're getting at the higher levels of the Israeli government as to what you should be able to do versus what's actually happening on the ground? Who is it directly that you communicate with? And are they saying the same things at all ends?
Well, we obviously have our contacts within COGAT and within the IDF, as well as the political side of it. all of those bodies play a part of this. In many ways, they've been helpful. In a lot of ways, they haven't been. So what we are asking for is consistency and the unfettered access, as I said, and the ability to move in through more, not just more gates, but ports also. As I mentioned earlier, the port of Ashdod is extremely important to being able to deliver food to the north.
There are many other areas around the world I know the program is working in that we want to ask you about, Director McCain. But in terms of Gaza, finally, knowing that the World Food Kitchen has stopped its deliveries and NARA, another group, has as well, can the World Food Program fill the gap left by those departures?
Listen, it's not about filling the gap. We need everybody in there. But yes, if you're asking, we can get to scale. Yes, we can. Right now, we have food amassed outside the gates and on the border, enough to feed 1.1 million people for 3 months. We need to get in. So it's not about anybody taking anybody's spot or anything like that. We all work together in a good way. But we need to get in. We need to get in now.
Well, as Joe suggested, Director, unfortunately, millions of people on the brink of famine are not just contained to Gaza. There are other areas of the world that are getting far less attention right now, including Haiti, which, of course, has a long history of food insecurity. But because of the recent uptick in gang violence we have seen, we know that there potentially are millions of people who at least need food assistance, if not are on the brink of famine themselves. What should we know about conditions in Haiti? How hard is it for the World Food Program to be doing its work there right now?
We are in Haiti, and we have not stopped delivery at all there. It is, as you just described, it's a very compelling place to be because it's dangerous. The country's pretty much run by the gangs now. The places that we operate there are more on the outskirts of Port-au-Prince and further outside the country, not outside the country, but outside that particular metropolitan area. So we've been able to continue our school feeding programs and our smaller smaller places where we can provide hot meals, et cetera. But it's difficult. I mean, we have they're evacuating all of the embassies, they're evacuating unnecessary personnel there, and I understand the need to do that. But we're not leaving. We intend to stay.
Well, with that said, Gaza and Haiti are taking a lot of attention and certainly generating a lot of headlines right now, Director. As you work into your second year at the helm of the program, what other parts of the world could be left behind? Is it Sudan? Is it Chad? Where should our focus be?
You just named it: Sudan, Chad, the Sahel of Africa, DRC Congo. All of these places are in desperate straits right now and need our support and the support of the world, more importantly, within all of these areas. I might also say, and I failed to mention this just earlier when we were talking about Gaza, I want to thank President Biden for his efforts on this. It was really President Biden that shook this loose. The changes. And so I'm very grateful as a humanitarian and someone who operates the largest humanitarian organization. I'm very grateful for his participation and his willingness to represent the humanitarian community.
That was Cindy McCain, Executive Director of the United Nations World Food Program.